just pop in, but I'm just going to use my measuring. This is the rose gold measuring spoons that you can get on the mix shop too. And my I've got the rice malt syrup in it now. Because sweet things, or you might be trying to get the kids to have less sugar, it's also possible to decrease this as well. But I've got the full amount today. Let's pop that in. So that's both my 50 grams of rice malt. And I'm just going to pop this on. And while I do that, I'm just going to run and find my spatula. One.
You'll just have to bear with us, guys. The internet sometimes down this way can be a little bit sketchy. So I know Sal's cutting in and out a little bit. So if you miss anything, just yell and I will try and catch you up.
Pop into this mix too, just for extra and goodness, because it's the oil today that will help keep you full as well, is to pop in an optional tablespoon of coconut oil, but I haven't done that today. I'm going to keep the rest as it is. And the other option for a different way of adding is some protein powder. That's a good one too for that extra protein. And the other one I do is sometimes I'll add in a tablespoon of cocoa. That makes it kind of like a chocolate flavour too. Okay, so this is where I've now got my mix in the muesli sort of stage, and I'm going to press it into my muesli bar molds. So this may take a little bit of time, but I'll just show you the tips and tricks before I let Lyndall go to the next presenter while I'm doing this. But generally speaking, I could use my, it's basically with the stainless steel, not to put too much, not to bang it too much around the bowl, but a little bit like this is okay. So I'm basically going to be filling up the molds, but at the very end, the secret is to press down really hard using at the back of a spoon, and that's the secret to get them into those good muesli bar shapes. That is what we're after. So I'm just putting this all in.
Who buys muesli bars for their kids' lunch boxes? Write that in the chat if you do that.
Yeah, any answers coming through? Yeah.
Yes, Christina does buy muesli bars.
Yeah.
So are we saving money with these, Sal, do you think?
I definitely think so, although as I said, I haven't done any cost comparisons because yeah, but I do believe at the long run that you would be saving a lot. And it's also that other idea of less waste, because we've not got that plastic packaging, you know, that you find that you're always, if they're going to school, that way as well. So I'm just throwing this in like so. I know it looks a bit messy at the moment, but the secret is that now I'm going to start pushing down firmly. And I mean firmly. And you'll find that it does.
Other people in the chat who haven't got kids at home, but they like grab and go options.
Yes.
And Christina was saying there'll be less sugar in the ones that we're making today than there would be in store-bought ones.
Yes, exactly. You can really tailor-make the sugar to your individual needs as well. And yeah, absolutely. So you can see now I'm really getting this squashed in, and that's what I find the secret, because once they've cooled down properly, then they'll pop out and be, you know, exactly like.
And they won't break up as well.
No, they don't break up. So, and what I also find is that if these went after cooling down into our fridge, we'd be snacking away on them because they're so moreish. So the idea is that you could freeze these as well. I just find then it's less of a temptation if they're in the freezer, because then they'll last a lot longer. They'll last a long time anyway, but if you want to sort of ration them out, Then pop them in your freezer, and you can either just pull them out before day out, or even.
And I guess you could put them in the lunchbox from
The
frozen.
other way to, yeah, absolutely. And these little bags that are on the mix shop, perfect for storing them in too. So almost there. I'm just giving them another.
So once you've got those in there, Sal, how long do they go in the oven for?
I think about 20 minutes. So and check again. Oh, 30 minutes. So yes, I'll get these in.
That's
So
why I had just started.
The only thing is, Lyndall, because of the cooling time, they do tend to impatiently while the mix is warm. So I don't know if we'll get time to see them properly cool down, but I will take a photo anyway when they come out. And then I'm going to now just pop them onto a tray, and we can move on to the next presenter, Linda, while I get these into the oven.
Thanks, Sal.
No problem.
So go back here. Open this up. Now, going on to our next presenter, that is the lovely Sam Johnson. Now, Sam is from Canoona. She lives in Canoona, and she only has just finished her 60-day program, so she is new to our team, but we are very excited to have Sam in our team, and we're very excited to have her presenting for the first time today. So I'm going to spotlight you there, Sam. So welcome. And
hello.
What are you making for us today?
Back to school, my highest requested recipe from my own children is apple and cinnamon muffins, and I could probably make them in my sleep. So I thought that would be a nice one to share with you all today.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Got it set up in my week. Could probably go on my every Sunday as a recurring recipe. We make them very frequently.
Yes, I've seen you pop these on your social media before.
Yeah. Yes. I won't post them every time I make them because it's much of a muchness, but they're very popular. So it says to grease line a 12-hole muffin tray, but for kids' lunchboxes, I like to use the smaller ones just because that's what fits in my kids' lunchboxes and it rations them out a tiny bit further. So it also reduces the cooking time if you make them smaller. So we're going to start with some apples. Pop those in. So we chop those ones up and then we take them out while we make the rest of the mix, and we add them back in later. So hopefully they'll fit back in my tiny bowl.
The bowls Sam's using today are also from the mix shop. So I'm just putting all of the links to anything that we're using or any recipes that we're doing today in the chat box. So if you see something that you like, the link will be there in the chat for you.
Perfect. Okay, butter. We're going to melt the butter. I like that you don't have to wash the bowl in between steps. You can go straight from cutting apple to melting the butter. One of my favourite features is moving straight on with the show and not cleaning.
Absolutely. That's always a good thing if you don't have to wash the mixing bowl.
It's probably my favourite line, right after serve immediately.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. So we've got a minute to melt the butter and then
perfect.
The rest will be quite fast.
So do you have any allergies in your home, Sam? Are you guys having to avoid anything or nothing for you guys?
Luckily, no. We try to eat a reduced sugar menu, but yeah, no, fortunately we aren't really avoiding anything for dietary reasons.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We can always, we can always substitute if there's people that are gluten-free. You can definitely substitute gluten-free flour for things, etc. I had a win yesterday because my son is he has an egg allergy, and I made some cupcakes just from a normal recipe for my mother-in-law, and I replaced the egg with aquafaba, and which is the liquid in the that surrounds the chickpeas in a can. And it worked perfectly. So I was jumping for joy. I was very excited.
Great.
So what's the next step?
Alrighty, so we're adding an egg. 180 grams of milk. 250 grams self-raising flour. A tablespoon of honey, which I've made a mess with, but all good.
Okay. The kids to clean up after you because they're the ones that get to eat all the muffins.
A girl can dream, Lyndall. And lastly in the mix is some brown sugar. We'll pop that in. 5 seconds.
So quick.
Scrape down the sides. So this one is a very, very quick recipe. All one bowl. Add back in our apple.
How do you store them, Sam, when you make them? Do you store them individually in the freezer for the kids, or?
They don't last long enough. But yeah, like if you made a double batch or something, you could absolutely store them in the freezer, pop them in frozen in lunchboxes in the morning by recess, especially if you make them small, they're good to go. So I'll just pop the mix into the molds and we'll be good to go. When you make the big ones, it asks to cut some slices of apple and put across the top. I usually make a combination. I make a tray of small ones and then a few bigger ones for usually for the husband. And I pop apple on his.
Perfect. Extra fruit never goes astray, does it?
Yes, the small ones are a bit too small to pop an apple slice on as well. So
yeah,
just made it even easier for myself, really.
Yes, well, it's always optional to add the fancy stuff, so you don't always have
to. I'm a bit of a no frills kind of faker.
That's what we're like in our house too. There we go. Pauline's always frightened to use silicone molds. How have you found the silicone molds, Sam? Do you have any trouble with them?
If I give them enough time to cool down, which I really didn't like silicone in the past because I'd get them out and cool them for 14 seconds and then wonder why they get stuck around the outside. I've actually decided that not oiling them and giving them time to cool down, they do pop out nicely. Perfect. So I'm not sure, like Sal, if we'll get to a stage where they're cool enough, I'll try to pop one out. But if they're not cool enough, they will stick. So if you leave them in there long enough, they will pop out and all the mix will just wipe off quite easily. If it was hard or messy, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't repeat them as often as I do.
I'm a patty pan girl because I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with any of that. You can always get away with that, not cleaning the pan as well after that. Yeah. All right, very good. Well, we won't bore you with filling muffin trays because I think everyone knows how to do that. So when Sam's finished with that, she'll pop it in the oven and we'll see the finished result, even if it is just in the pan. All right.
There we go.
Oh, good work. Thank you, Sam. How did she go, guys? I think she did really well. All right, so we'll go back to this and I'm going to introduce you to our next presenter, which is Lynn. So Lynn has actually been the longest standing consultant in our team, and I think we're going on 8 years now, Lynn, aren't we?
Close.
Close to 8 years. So perfect. I'm going to spotlight Lynn. There we are. Take it away, Lynn. What are you cooking today?
I'll cook something when my Thermomix is turned on.
I left you waiting for too long. That's my fault.
I thought I would do pizza pockets.
Beautiful.
Because pizzas are something that we might have as a quick and easy meal. And while you're making the dough, you can make another batch and make your pizza pockets for lunches. They're good for grown-ups, they're good for kids, and they're easily adaptable to, the filling's easy adaptable to whatever you've got in the fridge.
Absolutely.
So what I wanted to ask is, who's made pizza dough before? Can you type in the chat? Yes, good,
Yeah.
Christina. How easy does the Thermomix make it? Beautiful, Pauline.
And just quickly, Lynn, what else have you been cooking pizza dough for this week? Was there something at your house?
You steal my thunder. I was very fortunate to earn, through being a consultant, the pizza oven, the Havana pizza oven, which will be coming to the mix shop a little bit later on. I don't have a date yet. I don't think Lyndall does. But we got ours on Thursday and we didn't get around to doing anything until yesterday. So we did the burn off and I roasted some eggplant, some capsicum and a green chili to go in our dinner last night because we had pasta for dinner. We'd only had pizza a couple of nights ago, so we thought we'd give that a go instead. So I will make some baba ganoush with the eggplant a little bit later.
Nice.
And the other stuff was enjoyed with a pasta for dinner.
Lovely. Perfect.
Yep. So, and I'll tell you something, it heats up so quickly and maintains its heat and just is amazing to use, amazingly easy. So
Yes.
Look out for them. So I will skip over the pizza pocket, making the dough of the pizza pockets, unless anybody has a particular request that I do so. But one thing I did want to mention is that I made ricotta cheese this morning. And of course, with ricotta cheese, when the curds and the whey separate, you're left with the whey. So instead of using water in my pizza dough, I used exactly the same amount of whey. And I think it's the vinegar or the lemon juice, the acidity of the whey that makes that gluten behave nicely when you're making doughs, sort of breads, scones, all those sorts of things. So I will batch that up, what's left over, into freezer bags and then just freeze it in the 350 gram lots so I can do the easy everyday white bread. You can always top it up with a little bit of water as well if you don't have any. So
that's such a great tip. I've never heard that before. Thanks, Lee.
We've got a freezer that's full of whey. You will end up putting some on your garden just to give it a little bit of extra oomph. But you can use the freezer blocks if you do it in ice cube trays for smoothies. It adds that little bit of extra protein to your smoothies. So I guess that's where your whey protein isolate would come from after a long chain of processing. So
less waste as well, which is always great.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so instead of talking you through the pizza dough, I'm just going to scroll down my screen. Now, I know you can't see my screen particularly well, but I'm going to jump into this recipe right up to where we start cooking the pizza pockets. So we're going to preheat our oven. I'm going to try these in the pizza oven. So I'm going to ask I'm not going to ask my assistant, but I'll put it on shortly and we can preheat that and I can give them a go in the pizza oven. And fingers crossed that they work. So it says line 2 baking trays. You can use baking trays, your pizza trays. I haven't got the rose gold one from the mix shop, but it's got perforations in the bottom, which is perfect for creating that lovely crust on the bottom. So I'm going to use these ones. We've had these for a long time. So we will keep on using them. I won't put baking paper on them because it is going into a gas pizza oven and I don't want to flambe anything. And I'll just grab the cheese out the fridge. Hang on.
No worries. Now I'm just going to, I'm just copying and pasting some of the links as well, once again, to put in the chat here. So that's the rose gold pizza tray. I can tell you that I have tried my Ivana pizza oven and it lives up to its name. It was incredibly quick, as Lynn said, very quick to heat up and to hold its heat. So we were cooking the pizzas between 320 and 350 degrees Celsius. And yeah, about 90 seconds and your pizza was done.
Hey, Koki. Do you go thin and crispy or do you like?
I actually was playing with putting it in and pulling it out on the peel, which was a little bit interesting. So the first one I did was too thin and it all got a bit mushed up and buggered. So I was going with a bit thicker, but I just have to, you know, there's just a little bit of technique to play with. So we're having pizzas again tonight. I'll report back.
All right, so I'm going to grate my own cheese. It's something that I do. I buy it in bulk, cut it into pieces and grate it in batches as I go. So you can do about 200 grams of cheese at a time. So this says 50 grams of Parmesan, which I will put in there. But I'm also going to put in 50 grams of tasty cheddar. So that's in there. So there's, 25 grams of each. So I've just got 52 grams there. The other thing I do is buy my mozzarella in a big round ball and I cut it up into 100-gram batches. And as long as it freezes in a single layer and you can separate it easily when it comes out, that's how I do my mozzarella. And I grate it straight from the freezer. So this is actually quite rock hard. So 100 grams goes in there. And we use probably about 100 grams, 120 grams per pizza. Okay, now this is going to be a bit noisy. I hope you'll
it should dim it down.
Yes,
but
I've got that setting.
So we're making our own pizza blend of cheese. So if you were to buy that from the supermarket, you are looking at, I think it's upwards of $7 to $8 per packet. And obviously, if you have a look at the ingredients on the back of the grated cheese, there is some anti-caking agents and some preservatives in there to keep it fresh. Whereas if you're grating it from a block, you don't have to worry about those added extras, which of course for our children, when they're at school and when they're that young, is incredibly important. It's important for everyone, but yeah, the cost and saving yourself on all those extra nasties that are in grated cheese. So
and packaging too, really, because you get this much cheese in this much packaging. So
very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right, here we go. Bit of noise. Round two.
And you can freeze the grated cheese as well. If you were grating it and you had some left over, you can definitely pop those in one of your reusable freezer bags that I've also linked in the chat and pop those in the freezer ready to use as well.
Yep. So the next step is just to pull that out. Sorry, did I interrupt somebody?
No.
Okay, so now we're going to make the filling. So now when you're doing recipes, we tend to go from dry to wet and from cold to hot. If we were to grate cheese in a hot bowl, it will turn to oil. So that's why we've done this, to get it out of the way. And now we're going to move on to our filling. So 50 grams of brown onion. I've got half a red onion that I had in the fridge, so I will use that. Otherwise it won't get used. A couple of garlic cloves. In you go, peeled and sorted. And I'm going to chop that for 3 seconds.
Cool. A red onion would be a little bit sweeter for the kids anyway. I think that would be a nice.
So yeah. And this isn't cooked before you fill your pizza dough, so that probably is a bit of a benefit there. Let's just scrape down the side. There's fresh tomato. So these are just some from our garden. They're not doing real well. We've had a bit of a bad summer for tomatoes, for sunshine down here. So things are not ripening really well. Next, tomato paste. And also in here, I have got, I don't know if you can see it, it's a bit dark, I'm afraid. I've got some chopped fresh herbs. The recipe uses dried oregano, but I've got heaps in the garden, so I just tend to always use those fresh herbs. And again, I chopped them before I made the pizza dough. So you'll see those through the pizza dough as well as we go along. A little bit like the pizza bianca when we do that at demos, or when you do it at home, you get that rosemary and garlic flavor through your pizza dough, which is always nice. And one teaspoon of dried oregano, so we'll skip that one. We'll chop this for 5 seconds, or mix it for 5 seconds. So we just put this into a bowl and set it aside, and it's also got the bits of leftover cheese in there as well. So all that's going to come in together.
Maybe I'll have to try a pizza pocket in the
You may well, yeah. Okay, so if you had leftover tomato paste or tomato sauce from making pizzas the other day, this is exactly what you can use. As long as it's not too wet, it will be perfect. So I've got to split my pizza dough, which I will do in 1 second. Okay, we don't eat meat at home, so I've skipped the ham and the bacon, which is complete sacrilege, I know. But what I have got here is some jackfruit, some young jackfruit. So it's like this pale beige color, looks like a little chunk of pineapple, and it's perfect for vegetarians wanting that texture for pulled pork. So I'm going to just shred this quickly, just the same amount, 100 grams of each meat, replaced with 200 grams of jackfruit.
And is that is it in a can? Is that where
in a can with water? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're really big tropical fruits. I'm not sure. And they get them when they're young rather than let them go tough and old. So I'm just going to put that on reverse, and similar to shredding chicken, just up to speed 4.5, and it will have just broken those apart a little bit. I will show you. So who would say that's not chicken?
Looks like it, doesn't it? This is what I love about our team, everyone, is that we all have different specialties and different things that we are really good at. Sally is our gluten-free warrior for sure. And Lynn is our veggie chef, although if she comes to the market, she will definitely have an egg and bacon roll. But she cooks vegetarian at home. So she
oh, yes. Dear bacon, how I miss thee. Okay, so I'll just pop back into the recipe. So do you want me to roll my dough out now, Lyndall, or do you want to go back to one of the other guys?
If you want to do that, go for it, and then we can get yours cooking, and then we can present that. And then while everything's still in that cooking time, Sally's going to whip up some bliss balls.
Yep.
Perfect. So guys, any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Lynn's got
I got a bit my pizza dough got a bit excited.
It does.
Oh no, okay there. And I'm not going to squash it out too much before I roll it, because what you'll find with your pizza dough is that once you knock it right down like you would do with a loaf of bread, it's really hard to tease out in a circle. So be gentle with it right now, and I will get my trusty cutter and just cut these into, they say, about 40-gram sections. Now you can't see that, can you? Let me take me out of the picture, and we'll cut you into little bits.
So Lynn's got a thermomat there. Lynn, how can you get a thermomat?
How can you get a thermomat? If you host a cooking experience, you will access or unlock the Thermomat Duo Pack, which is this mat here that's fabulous for bread work, pastry work, chocolate work, anything like that. Keeps your benches nice and clean. It gives you a good surface to work on. And you can unlock one for a heavily discounted price, or if one of your friends chooses to purchase, then you can get it for free. How about that?
And I think that Sam had the heat mat there, didn't you, Sam? When she was, that's the heat mat that you've got there, isn't it?
The baking mat.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the duo. Yeah. So Lynn's got the thermomat and Sam's got the heat mat, which can actually go in the oven as well instead of baking paper. So there you go.
All right, so I've just molded these with my hand in a cup shape, just using the resistance on the mat. And I'm now going to just roll them out. One, two. So I'll just do two, and then I'll light my oven, and we can, or the pizza oven, and we can cook those two.
Perfect.
Rounds are not my forte, I'm afraid.
I was going to say yours are a lot neater than mine usually are.
My husband's my pizza chef, so you know.
Oh yeah, he does the dough usually, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit of filling in the dough. Can you see that? Yep. A little bit of pulled pork, for want of a better word. You could actually have put the pork into the tomato and mixed that in. That would have worked quite well. Not pork.
Jackfruit.
And a little bit of the old cheeses, little baby cheeses.
This is something that we could do with our kids too.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, look, you know, in the essence of them being messy, going to be messy with children's hands in there, but I'm sure they would have lots of fun doing it.
Very messy with my hands in here, Linda, I can assure you. Oh, right. Okay, don't tell me I've put too much filling in.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's like a dumpling that's bursting.
It is, isn't it? Could you use the dumpling maker?
I think you probably could, because there is a big dumpling maker. I'll find the link for that too. We're going to flood you with mixed shop products.
Okay, so the beauty of these is, unlike pizza where you pick it up and it droops and then all the tomatoes down the front of their clothes, this is just pick it up and eat it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So
beautiful.
I'm just going to go and light my oven, and I shall return.
No worries. So we are going to, there we go. Everyone's saying that looks great. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
And we'll come back to present at the end. Now, Sally, are you ready for some bliss balls? Oh, you're just on mute. Hang on. Oh, there you are. Perfect.
Yes, I am, but I'm just been watching my bars by the minute, and they're just ready, because there's a fine line too with not letting them scorched too much and getting them right, and they're just ready now. So just let me pull them out and I'll show you.
Go for it.
And then we'll go straight
While you're doing that, Sal, I might just quickly run through. Oh, you've got them? Perfect.
Yes, I've got them. So yeah, so there you go. I've just pulled them out. That was 30 minutes. So I'm going to pop those out to really cool down. And I've got one more tray coming out as well. Yeah, they've got to really cool down, and then they'll pop out of their molds.
Great.
Okay, so the next recipe is the energy balls. Now, there's lots and lots of energy balls on Cookie Dough, and there's also ways that you can just sort of pop your own ingredients in. I was showing you years ago a favorite recipe, and it's really just a cup of everything, a cup of dates, a cup of nuts, a cup of whether it's, you know, sort of apple or whatever it is, you can just wing it. But today there's 2 recipes I've just realized. So there's a collection, Lyndall, called Energy Balls, which you'll need to untick your filters if you've got Cookie Dough, and there's some brilliant ones on there. So there's all sorts of different varieties. The one that I'm going to be making today is called the Carrot Cake Bliss Balls. So we'll see how we go, because I'm actually going to substitute the nuts for seeds. So again, it's playing with ingredients, so we'll see how we go. So I've literally got, for this bliss ball recipe, very few ingredients. I've got carrots. Now I've peeled these just before the class started using, who has got one yet? The potato peeler. So let us know in the chat who has got one of these. And that basically sits on the bottom of your bowl, and you then use your potatoes in, or in this case you can do carrots, and it sits in there with 600 grams of water. On the TM6 there's a potato peeler mode which you can then set, and I changed it down to about a minute less. But again, while I'm doing something else, to peel my carrots. And again, it's using the very fine peel can then go straight into the compost. So that's a great one to have a look at.
Yeah, so we've got people with someone who hasn't got one yet, and Pauline who has got one but hasn't used it yet. So Sal, how can they get a potato blade cover?
Yeah, so pleased you asked. So this, at the moment, you can host a cooking experience, and that can be something like this online, if you've got 2 guests, or in your home. And that will entitle you to get one of these, whether it's at discounted or free. And they are on the Mix Shop, but yeah, what a good reason to get inspired for the next, and get your Thermomix consultant to show you how it works. We've even got some recipes to show you. So like the creamy potato mash, Aussie potato salad, we can even do one of those. So yeah, so what do you think? Have you done any, Lyndall? Have you used any of the...
I used it to do some potatoes the other day, and it gives it like a little bit of a grit on the outside of the potato. So I was just saying it's really great if you were going to roast them, because that'll pick up all of the oil that's in your pan, or duck fat if you want to be a little bit naughty at Christmas. So that's really great for that as well. And Pauline's just said that she never peels her vegetables, but it can just be used as a blade cover as well. So instead of the plastic cover, we've now replaced it with the stainless steel one. So for sous vide cooking and for slow cooking as well. So not just for peeling potatoes.
Yes. Good point. It's definitely an accessory for 2 things. So yeah, let's see how I go with these carrot balls. I'm going to be honest, I haven't made this version for a while, but I do love bliss balls, definitely. And they're such a good filler lunchbox as well, because they're very filling. So a great way as well to pop into a lunchbox. As I go, I'll just talk to you about the ingredients and how I've switched. So I've got pecans, so I'm trying to make it nut-free today. So rather than pecans, I'm going to just use my sunflower seeds.
And that might be helpful for school lunchboxes, because I know a lot of schools are nut-free, probably due to children like my child.
It's
my fault, everyone.
I should do, let me just do gallery view and then I can see you and
Okay.
get your cues.
Good.
Okay, and now I've got walnuts, but I'm using oats. Now, again, if you're wheat free like I am, I'm okay with oats. I'm not celiac, but if you were celiac, you could buy special celiac approved oats, but these are just oats. I am substituting because the recipe says walnuts. So in goes my oats. I now have my desiccated coconut. Now again, I just buy one shredded coconut and I've already pre-milled this in my Thermomix. It took about 10 seconds on speed 8.5 just to make it into desiccated. So I've got that, which is going in. And now I've got my dates, which is the sweetener. They're the pitted dates, let's hope, because sometimes if there's a stone in there, although they're bought and dates. Now here comes the carrots. I've got that just chopped into pieces. I'm going to add in a little bit of protein powder. Again, you may have some, you don't have to put this in. This is just an added extra. I'm going to pop in some nutmeg, which I've popped into my little container, and cinnamon together, just for that extra spice or flavor. And again, it's not strong, so it's quite mild, but if you like it really cinnamony, you could always add more. And a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. So everything's in the bowl. So and it's just 10 seconds speed 7. I will have a look at the texture. So again, this texture is going to kind of give a little bit of that carrot through it, but if you wanted it finer, because you know that your family or you prefer things a lot more milled down, you can always do more as well. So let's just have a look and see how it goes.
And how great to be adding carrot into a bliss ball for a kid's lunchbox. I know trying to get vegetables into little people can sometimes be very, very difficult. So I think this is a great recipe for that.
Yeah, so we know they probably don't like carrots, right? So the idea is that you want to get it to that consistency, which you can fine tune this and do more or less. So you can see that's quite fine, but you could go another 5 seconds or so, definitely with that. So I think that texture is pretty good for us. And the next step, which I'm going to show you, is again, optional, but I will do it this time. I'm just going to pop in a tablespoon of coconut oil. I'll find it binds a little bit better. I could mix this through, but I'm just showing you the optional step. So I have got some more extra desiccated coconut here, which I'm going to roll them in. I also, what I tend to do is once I've got my balls shaped, I'm going to pop them into this thermo server, and Linda will explain how to get a thermo server and the various sizes. And basically what I do is I shape the balls in here with the coconut on them to spread the coconut out evenly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and wet my hands. I do find that wet hands when rolling bliss balls are the easiest. Now I gave this job to my teenage daughter when they used to pack their own lunchboxes. In fact, the only way I could get them to really eat their lunchboxes was to take control themselves, and they had a variety of what they could choose, but she was in charge every week of making bliss balls. Anyway, what I didn't realize when I saw her when I've seen her recently in the last year or so, is I walk at the same stage, is she's actually got to that stage where she can roll 2 at a time with one hand each. I don't know how she does it, but she gets the knack, and she can do 2 at once and keep going. So she obviously did it enough to really get to the hang of it. Again, they say a tablespoon of mix, but it depends on what you know or what you like or what your kids enjoy or how big a portion you want them to have. So I'll just probably go for about that size, like so, and I'm just going to keep rolling. So Lyndall, while I'm rolling, I'll let you know when I'm done and show you my coconut shredded.
Absolutely. No,
but maybe anyone got something they can do in the meantime, because this is just sort of
so what I'm gonna, I'll let you keep doing that. I've removed the spotlight, and I will add that to myself because I'm just quickly going to share my screen again. Go back to here. Because I'm just going to run you through some of the things that we have happening at the moment in Thermomix world. Now, I probably should play that better. There we go. So we have at the moment some really great deals happening. When you buy a TM6 at the moment, you can get a mini vac for free. Now these are worth $300, $299. So any purchase of a TM6, you will get a free mini vac. You then also have the option of pairing and saving and adding on the VB100 upright cordless vacuum with the added mop head on there. So you can mop and vacuum at the same time. I know there is some of our consultants here that have earned that as a reward for being a consultant, and for just making some sales. We have earned our vacuums, and I can tell you that the VB100 is definitely a game changer in our house. Vacuuming and mopping was not my forte, but I do use the VB100 now. So you can pair that together with a TM6 plus your free mini vac for $3,999. So that's a very big saving there. The other thing we have on offer at the moment is the 36 months interest free. Now that takes your repayments down to $16.83 per week. Obviously it will be slightly more than that if you do add the VB100 on, but that's a pretty affordable way of getting a Thermomix on your bench. So if you were interested in any of those things, please reach out to your consultant, or you can stay on afterwards and I'll chat you through it as well. The other thing that is coming soon is the trade-in offer. Now, this offer generally is very popular when it comes around. It is only between the 14th and the 28th of February. If you are interested in that at all, please stay on afterwards, have a chat with us, or reach out to your consultant. They'd love to help you with that. Any TM21, TM31, TM5 in any condition can be traded in, and you will get $360 off your cost of your brand new TM6. The other thing that we have on offer at the moment, which is only for consultants, but I thought I'd quickly mention it here. Our consultants are actually working towards earning a black TM6, which is being released later in the year. We don't have any information on when it will be available for customers, but when it is available for customers, it is only limited edition, so you'll have to jump onto it quickly. But you know, if you've got a darker coloured kitchen and you would like a black Thermomix, once again, you could join our team, which we would love to have you. Obviously, we have a lot of fun, and we have a very expansive area in our team where we have places to fill for sure. But if that's something that interests you, once again, stay on afterwards, have a chat to me or your consultant that has invited you here today, and we'll have a chat about that as well. So just stop sharing for a second there. And come back now. Sam, I think yours are ready, are they?
Yep, we are out of the oven. I started popping them out, and then I thought maybe I should save some to show how I get them out. So they come out quite cleanly once it's had a little minute to cool down. I just get a butter knife, run around the outside. They kind of spin in there, and you can pop them out. They come out very easily.
Great lunchbox.
The big ones look
beautiful too.
The big ones look nicer. The kids don't care what they look like, but adults, you know, aesthetically pleasing is okay sometimes. Same deal, run the knife around the edge, and these ones are a bit hotter. They took a little longer, but yeah, they just pop out too.
Beautiful. They look great. And now you're all set for the next 2 days with the children anyway.
2 days is a stretch, but yeah.
That's good. At least they're eating something. That's
yeah, that's not a problem.
That's good. That's good. I might send Archer over to you. You can teach him how to eat. Thank you very much, Sam. That's lovely, and thank you for presenting today. Everyone, give her a round of applause because
thank you.
It's a bit daunting starting, but you've done incredibly well. I'm very proud. Very good. So now, Lynn, how's your pizza pockets going? There you go. You've got some thank yous in the chat there, Sam. Well done.
On a learning curve while you've been away.
Hi, yes, you've been playing with the oven. How did you go? How did you go?
Oh, let's before we get to the oven, we vacuum sealed some raw pizza
Good
pockets.
work.
Probably not a good idea because they squash. So I would suggest only lightly vacuum sealing them.
Yep.
They will still cook up fine when they're defrosted, but you can pop those in the freezer, or cook them and then freeze them might be the way to go. That might not be quite as fragile with that nice dough. My pizza pockets, you said the pizzas were a learning curve.
Yes.
I got a bit burnt.
Are you
So-
okay?
No, they got a bit burnt.
Oh,
Not
they
me.
did. Oh, okay.
So they're a little bit black on one corner.
Well, look, everyone likes a bit of charcoal. Isn't that good for you?
No, it's not.
Isn't
Well,
it?
it depends. But you know what? They look lovely inside.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know. You've got enough light to
Oh, yes.
see
Yep.
them
I
there.
can see that.
But
Beautiful.
there you
Yeah,
go.
Yeah,
So I'll
Pauline
cut one
said,
open.
Pauline said turn it upside down and you won't know.
Give that lady a job. Make her a consultant.
She also
So, yes.
said that she actually did that with sausages once in a vacuum sealer.
Oh, just
Oh, you're good value, Pauline. We love this. This is great. And this is what happens when you do a cooking class. Always expect the unexpected.
yes. So pizza oven will work.
It will.
I shouldn't have
Very
put the door on,
Yeah.
but yeah, I learned. Next time, be different.
You never lose, you learn. There we go. Thank you, Pauline. You are a very wise woman. Very wise. All right, Sal, should we come back to you?
Sure. And I was going to say practice makes perfect. I've got my husband onto that pizza oven, and there are a few tips. And I reckon we'll be doing a class on that one day soon, Lyndall.
I know I tried to get my husband to help, but he was too busy playing with a remote control aeroplane. So it was left up to me.
Got to delegate. Anyway, so back to the bliss balls first of all, and I'll just show you my little trick. So I have my, again, extra coconut I've done here. So I'm popping those into
the thermo server. Now I've linked the thermo, that's a little 500 ml thermo server that I have linked in the chat, because you can buy those on the mix shop. But if you're getting a bigger thermo server, the only way they are available is how, Sally?
by hosting one of those cooking workshop experiences, Lyndall.
We're good at advertising, aren't we?
We are, aren't we?
We are. For a demo
Host
or a stand-up comedy show, that's fine too.
Ooh, it worked. Okay, so as you can see, I mean, I can still do it a little bit more upside downish, but it's a great way to coat. I do make a mess because I'm a messy cook, but I'm going to show you another little tip. So I'm just going like that, and those
Beautiful.
are done. And before I go to my muesli bars, why not, which I absolutely love, using this for just sweeping up a little bit. It is brilliant.
Well done.
So that's that handheld vacuum cleaner, which you can get when you purchase your TM6 this for the next offer. So it's great. I have it in my car. I have got it in my kitchen at the moment, and I can just go around scooping up the desiccated coconut bits.
Great for messy cooks. Great for messy cooks.
I know. And this, now they say to chill in the fridge again for another half an hour, but similar with the muesli bars. I'll just bring those. And as I said, they're still not cooled down, but let me do my best to just show you how they're going.
Look, if it breaks, you can vacuum it up, so it's okay.
Exactly. So yeah, actually, as you can see, so my main point is when these cool down, they are just like a muesli bar. So
beautiful.
They really do work well.
They look really great.
They are. And
that's on my list of things to do. Soon I need to do those. They look really great.
I'll just have a little taste, but I'll probably get seeds in my mouth. But again, add your tablespoon of cacao. I like the Dutch processed one because it's not as bitter as cacao, and it's not like hot chocolate as such, but a tablespoon of the Dutch one you get at the supermarket makes them a chocolatey one. You can mix and match different additions. As I said, I've made them a few with oats as well, so These are great. And once they've cooled down, they're quite crunchy and they'll stay that way.
Pauline was just saying she likes yogurt topped ones. Do we have a recipe for a yogurt topped one?
Mm-hmm.
I think in the new
I
cookbook.
was going to tell you about the celebration book.
Yeah.
There's more recipes, and you can swirl your chocolate and swirl your yogurt and get really creative.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
so you can
actually, that's great too, because Pauline just purchased her TM6 and she got the cookbook, so she'll have that there for her to have a look at.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So again, not just for kids' lunchboxes, just for anyone really. So
absolutely. Yeah. Perfect. So I do have some recommendations of other things, because I think everyone's good, aren't they? Let me okay, let's share the screen again. All right, so what we like to do is have a chat with our the rest of our team, because this is not all of our team, but we have some recommendations for other lunchbox treats. Cookie Doo is just, endless really with all of the options. The Wombat Slice is one of my recommendations, because it is actually it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, it's sugar-free, and it's egg-free. So this is a really great one for kids' lunchboxes with allergies, which I have become very closely aware of. And then the sandwich sushi, kids get bored of sandwiches, we all know that. Chicken and sweet corn muffins. If you've cooked any of these, pop them in the chat, let me know. But once again, just some recommendations: ham and cheese quinoa muffins, chicken and rice patties, and vegetable and cheese muffins. Some 3-cheese spinach scrolls, so similar to making your pizza dough and then rolling it into scrolls. There is different ways of doing this, but obviously lots of different fillings that you can go with. Fruit roll-ups, obviously a lot less sugar in these ones, and some options to change out for seasonal fruit, things like that, much better for the kids for their lunchbox. And some zucchini slice is always a winner. Sausage rolls with your own pastry. These are I always find the ones when you make your own pastry last a lot longer in a lunchbox, because they don't go as soggy as the store-bought puff pastry. And the dairy and grain-free wraps. Now the Brazilian cheese puffs are in there because Sally had a really great tip about how you can actually make the batter for the Brazilian cheese puffs, which is it's very similar to a pancake batter, so it's quite runny, but you can make them into wraps. So I assume, would you just fry them, Sal, in a fry pan when you?
Yes, you would. Yeah.
Like basically,
and a really rolly kind of,
Yeah. So there So then you've got a gluten-free wrap option that's super easy, because you all know the Brazilian cheese puffs. If you haven't made them, make them, because they are super easy and super tasty. So another option there for the lunchbox. Now these are collections. So when you're on your Cookie Doo, you can search by recipe or you can search by collection. And these are 2 collections that I found this morning actually that I thought would be appropriate for lunchbox ideas. So your cereal bars. So like Sally showed us today, we have our snack molds, and we can make all sorts of different cereal bars. There's lots of different options there, because not everyone has the same tastes, and some other lunchbox ideas there in a different collection there. So this is who've been presenting today. You've got Lyndall, myself, Lynn, Sally and Sam from Team Sapphire. We just wanted to thank you very much for coming to this afternoon's class. If you had any questions at all and would like to stay on to get some more information afterwards, then we would love to help you out with that. But thank you very much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. I have recorded today, so if you did have friends that you thought might be interested in watching this class back, then once again just yell out and we can pop that there. If you wanted to follow any of us on social media, I'm sure we'll all be sharing this later on anyway. So that was all in our bios at the start. There we go. Thank you. Perfect. Yes, I'm very excited for your Thermomix to arrive, Pauline, as well. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you ladies for presenting. It's always a pleasure. And happy Sunday and happy school holidays going back. I'm sure there's lots of kids out there. I know Sam's a teacher, so she might not be quite as excited about school holidays ending, but most people with kids at home will be very, very excited about school holidays coming to a close. So let's hope for a very happy 2022, and let's see if we can finish a school term, hey? Thank you. Thanks, Hallie. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to stop recording.